only ng if is there. In Angular 2, only ng if is there. Whereas in Angular 4, else statements also included. Whereas in Angular 4, which is included? Else statement also included. Let me show you the syntax of ng if else statement. Angular 2, this feature is not there. Angular 4, this feature is there. I think this is the ng if statement which everybody is aware of. Am I correct or not? This one. Star ng if logged in, semicolon, else logged out. This logged out should be this. Govind, please mute your phones. Thank you. It's about to start, Pallavi. This is 7 a.m. class. I'm just briefly explaining them. It's about to start. I'm waiting for a few more folks to join. Once they join, we can have a comment session. Will not take much time, 30 to 40 minutes max. I'm just going through the list of questions and the features, if I missed anything. So here, if you look at this, the ng if statement, star ng if statement is common. Else, you are having a template reference. Look at that logged out in the else statement. And in here, this logged out is referenced with a template. So if this one, else the other one. Okay, if somebody is asking for the ng if syntax, star ng if else, this is the syntax. And ng if else is only available in Angular 4, not in Angular 2. From 4, 5, and 6 onwards, it is there. Okay. Next question. Can we use both ng for and ng if on the same tag? A big no. A big no for what? Two structural directives, star ng if, please note down, star ng if, star ng if, star ng for are called structural directives. Please note down, in Angular 4, another directive introduced that is ng for off. ng for off directive instantiates a template for every item in the iteration. Okay. So please go through the NG for off. Next one. How components communicate with each other? How components communicate with each other? What are the various techniques that components communicate with each other? Input, input, output, subject. Right. Like this, almost you have 40 questions are there. Please go through those questions. Okay. Give me 2 minutes and just come. Guys, please note down. Angular components, life cycle. Angular components, life cycle. So what is this life cycle? For each and every component that is getting created in Angular, internally it is having some steps. Okay, those steps will enable the component to perform differently at different instances of time. Okay, when a component getting loaded, what should happen? When a component is removing, what should happen? Okay, which one should come first? Suppose if I'm using input outputs, if any property is getting changed for a component, how it should behave, and all, they clearly divided the creation of a component into multiple methods. Okay, component creation is divided into multiple methods. Come fast. So let us see the component life cycle methods. First method, for each and every component, the first and foremost method will be constructor. The first and foremost method will be a constructor. Second method, ng on init. The second method is what? ng on init. This will fire only once in the life cycle of This will execute only once at the time of loading the component. So precedence will always be given to the constructor. After the constructor, ng, which one on init I told you, right? Ng on it will be executing. Next one, please note down. It is a interface where when a component is getting loaded along with input output properties, then this method will be executed. What are the two things that we have seen? Constructor, ng on init. Next one, ng on changes. Next one is what? ng on changes. This event will be fired when there is a whenever there is a change in the input property, whenever there is a change in the input property, then ng on changes method will fire. So what are the methods till now will be discussed? First one is, look at the order, okay? Always constructor will go first. Next. Second. Third one is how many methods so far we have seen? ng on init, ng on changes, constructor. Next one is ng destroy. When when a component is unloaded, when a component is unloaded from the screen, come first. ng on destroy method, ng on destroy method will be executed. ng on destroy method will be executed. ng do check. So do check. ng do check. This method is useful when the changes in Angular does not catch on its own. Of course, the statement is there. You can write down the statement. But we very, very rarely use this method. Take down some tips. Whenever you want to Whenever you want to add anything, whenever you want to add anything, please check whether it is immutable or not. Whether it is immutable and it's changeable or not, check this. Okay, so make sure anything one. Next one, Jones in Angular. Jones, Jones in Angular. Madam, Randy, you are very late. Jones in Angular. So, before going to the Jones, I would like to give a quick recap of the methods. Always remember, whenever any Angular component is getting loaded, the first and foremost method that will execute is the constructor. Is this clear to everyone? First and foremost method is constructor. That is built-in method. Okay. Next method is, I'm giving you the order. Please keep the same order again. First one is ng on changes. Second one is first one is constructor. Second one is ng on changes. Third one is ng on init. Fourth one is ng destroy. Fourth one is ng destroy. Did we still anything? We covered everything, right? Okay. Between the what you call? What was the last one? Do check. Sorry. The last one is do check. So these are considered as the components life cycle. These are considered as component life cycle hooks. First one, when will you use these methods is very important. When will you use these methods? Suppose if you want to track the changes happening on your components properties of input, then ng on changes method you will use. ng on init method, it will be acting exactly same as a constructor method. It will act exactly same the way a constructor method is getting invoked. ng on init also will be invoked with the same lines. Okay, it is no way different. Am I clear to everyone? It is no way different. ng on init almost equals to what? Constructor. But ng on init and the constructor will execute only once. Keep a note. ng on init will execute only once in the life cycle of a component. NG on it and constructor, ఇవి రెండు only once in a lifetime where they will be called. One time call అయిన తర్వాత they will not be called anymore. Okay. But NG on changes method will be continuously firing method. Whenever there is a change, it will be fired. NG on changes will be triggered for every action happening inside the environment. So it will work for both. Come fast. Okay. Please note down an important part of Angular. NG Jones. In Angular, the change detection Jones, ZONES. So we are all aware that Angular is having the interpolation of double curly brackets. Are we all aware of it or not? Good. So, in Angular, do we have two-way data binding with the help of double curly brackets, interpolation? Are we aware of it or not? Angular interpolation only if zones in the application are enabled. Do you understand my statement? Angular two-way data binding will work only when zones are enabled. If your zones are enabled in an Angular application, then only you can experience the two-way binding. Otherwise, immediately it will not be binded. Clear? So every zone has few methods available. Every zone has few methods available. Is the audio clear now? Let me read a very simple example. I don't want a complicated example. Just want to write a very, very simple and easy example. A task can be, please note down, in Angular. What I told you? In every zone, a task can be executed in two modes. One is within the zone, the other one is outside the zone. A task execute అవ్వాలంటే it could be executed within the zone or it could be executed outside the zone. If any task executing outside the zone, the interpolation will not work. If any task which is executing outside the zone, interpolation will not work. Do you got the statement? Interpolation work అవ్వాలి అంటే it should be running under the zone. If you are not finding the interpolation updated, that means that particular task is running beyond Angular's zone. If you want to track it, you have to pull it inside the Angular zone. Do you understand the statement? If any interpolation should work continuously, then that particular task should be part of Angular zone. If it is not of Angular zone, it is not an error, but the data will not be updated. The data will not be updated. This is one of the key features of Angular. So we will see a very simple example of a task which is running outside the Angular, inside the Angular. Okay, watch carefully. I am copying this code. I have some dummy project. Of course, you don't need any complex things for this. I'm just making it as simple as possible. Now, I have a project which is a dummy basic hello world project. What all I imported here? Component ng zone. Component gurinchi everybody aware of it. Now, what I'm doing, I imported ng zone. Here, let me have the template. Let me move the template to the HTML. Okay. I have a HTML and I have a component. app.component.html I have given here. Look at the code, piece of code. In this particular code, if you look carefully, I imported along with the component, I imported a feature called zone. Do we got the NG zone here? NG zone is a service. So I passed as a constructor parameter. Up to there, anybody having any questions? So here I have a constructor. In this constructor, there is nothing written, isn't it? Are there any code in the constructor? There is zero code inside the constructor, but we have injected what? NG zone. Now, process within Angular zone. I told you a code will be either executing outside the Angular process or inside the Angular process. So this function I wrote, what I said, process it within Angular. Okay. So this dot label equal to inside, this dot progress, zero progress indicator, I'm not showing it. This dot English progress equal to, you're adding it and you are just printing it. Now, look at the other method. Here, what I am doing, I am explicitly running this dot underscore ng zone dot run, arrow operator clear, run. I am writing simply console dot log outside. Okay. Now, let us see this increase progress. It's a method which is going to increment the counter. That's it. Nothing else. Increase progress is nothing but the counter getting incremented. Let us run this code and let us see what is our understanding on these two. Give me 2 minutes, it will be up and running. In regular programming, you will never use any of these concepts. Okay, but once you go to the complex architectures you might have to deal with, at that time, if you know, okay, this concept is existing, then at least you can give it a try. If I don't teach you their existence, you never know. Got it? In regular programs or in regular projects, even my employees are not aware of these things. But some stupid code, some stupid requirement will come. At that time, you should understand, oh, update is not happening. What could be the reason? At that time, if I'm coming to your minds, then zones will come. Otherwise, it will not. Very simple. Okay.
How will we know that the code is getting executed and output is coming?
Code will execute. As I told you, code will not give you any problem. Code will execute. But if you click a button, you're expecting a change to happen, that will not happen.
We have a login page. We are getting login.
For those things, not a problem. Two-way data binding. Interpolation is there, right? For that interpolation, if you update something, it should reflect it. Unfortunately, if that update is happening outside the Angular's context zone, then it is going to be a problem. Something is causing error. Let us see. Okay. There's a mistake. Oh, app router. Okay. Process within Angular zone. What is happening? 100% completed. Done processing is happened inside the Angular zone. Process outside of Angular zone. First time updated. After that, it is not updating. Is it updating the count? No. Actually, it is updating. Inside the code, it is updating. But it will not be reflected to the end user because this particular function is running outside the Angular zone. Shall we see the code once? F12. If you look at this, there is a timeout function called. There is a timeout function called how much? For 1 millisecond. Sorry, 10 means milliseconds it will be calculated. Okay. So in the set timeout method, what we wrote? What we wrote inside the set timeout method? We are calling the this dot underscore increase progress. That means you are calling a recursive program here. See, set timeout, this dot increase progress. And here my callback is there, comma 10 is I have given. So this will not harm any program to the any harm to the program. Watch carefully. Let us debug. App component.html. Yeah. So look at this. Process within Angular zone, copying it here. So it is calling this guy. Process outside Angular zone, you are calling it. Now you are doing something. Okay. Watch carefully. Go to the console. I kept the breakpoints every possible place. And I'm just clicking on executed. So now process within Angular zone. It came to the label inside progress 0. Now what I'm saying, this dot increase progress, the count. Console.log inside done. Now I'm calling the increase progress method. This method is having a counter called this dot progress. The initial value of progress is set to 1. Now I'm just printing the current progress. Here, if you look at this, window dot set timeout. Timeout ichanu. Increase progress, done callback of this some extra amount of time on. So done callback is a function itself. Here, if you look at the timeout, window dot set timeout, it is normally executing because already it is running under it. Here, it is not the case. You are executing run outside Angular. Are you finding the method name here? ng-zone dot run outside Angular. So, if you run outside Angular method call, it will be executing outside it, and you will not be fetching the expected output. Now I am executing the process outside Angular zone. Came here. Look at the method. This dot underscore ng-zone dot run outside Angular. You are explicitly running the piece of code externally by calling this particular method. The moment you call the same method, it will not execute or it will not update the view. Observe the output. Process, it is going to process 100. Outside Angular. ng-zone dot run outside Angular. It is running outside. We don't know, though the data is getting updated, it will not be reflecting in the user interface. Earlier, your count was increasing from 0 to 100. Now it was stagnant at 1. So even if you're running the outside, everything is working fine, except the data is not reflecting immediately. That is the only problem with running the activated zone. Okay. What else we have? For your reference, you can go through these particular topics. Please note down. It's for your own reference. First one, element ref. First one is element ref. Second one, template ref. Third one, container ref. Third one is container ref. Everybody is having their own purpose. If I am going for the element ref, only that particular element will come. Suppose if I want the particular entire this thing, the template ref you can have. Like that, each and every ref is having one unique. Next one, please note down. @viewChild decorator. @viewChild decorator. This decorator is useful to access the elements and their HTML. So you mean చూడాల్సిన మెథడ్స్ అండి ఇవి నేను కవర్ చేయలేదు. They are not as part of the scope and very high level. Okay, this itself is ఒక 2-3 levels తర్వాత మీకు చెప్తోంది ఇది. This itself is about 2-3 levels to you. But still, I just thought of giving you some pointers. ఏమున్నాయి దీంట్లో? We discussed prime NG, discuss this. We discussed prime NG, right? I mean, not 8 o'clock batch, 7 o'clock batch. We discussed prime NG. We discussed all these things. Okay. Also, please go through the child routing and child routing. Child routing and passing parameter from a root. Passing parameter from a root. You will be having a root. You want to send some data to the root. How will you send? Those who are already working, please go through those scenarios. ఇంకేమున్నాయి మనకి? Okay, that's it. So what are all there in Angular so far? For 7 o'clock batch, we have covered everything here. Not everything, beyond that. That means for a guy who is already working in Angular, also not aware of many topics, I have given some introduction to those topics to you. Please go through those. Okay. And keep the repository with you. It is having all best practices that are needed to do the job. 90% of the things you have to follow the same structure. Wherever there is a upgradations or extra things needed, otherwise blindly follow the structure, the coding patterns and everything. Okay. Fine guys. So we are done with the Angular. We will be having one Q&A session which we will announce for you. But take time. In this week itself, we are going to have the Q&A session. And how to face the interviews. Already interview questions are given to you, isn't it? The repository is having the interview questions. Around 40 to 50 questions I have given to you. People will not go beyond that. Yeah, that's what. People will not go beyond that. 99% from that only they will ask. And then one thing that is pending is the deployment. So how to deploy the code and jQuery will be covered in one session. That's it. Okay, Q&A session is one thing which is exclusively for you, where we can have it on a weekend or any time in this week. Okay. So thanks for bearing me for almost 2 months, 2.5 months. 2 months, right? Okay. Thanks for bearing me for 2 months, and then my late comings. We'll meet you again in this week to discuss about the jQuery and what else? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Thank you all for giving me an opportunity. So tomorrow, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock batch, your timings are your timings. You can continue with your timings. Okay. Any questions for these guys? So what are all the features that already discussed? Those features are already included. What are the features we discussed? NG, if else is what newly introduced in Angular 5. Angular 5, there is no new introductions as such. Already HTTP client you have used, right? That is Angular 5 feature only. In Angular 4, that is not there. You are using the HTTP client, right? But to make the calls, that is Angular 5 feature only. Inherently it came. Angular 4 uses HTTP module. Angular 5 uses HTTP client module. Got it? We don't have a regular 8 AM batch. Pallavi, tomorrow onwards your batch will be continued. No problem. Today we thought of discussing some Q&As, some topics, so that's why I combined this session. Otherwise, 8 o'clock batches, your flow is already there. We will be continuing with your flow only. Okay. And in Angular 6, there are some new features came. If you want, I can, but no change in the code. There is no change in the code, but they improved the performance internally of your compilation model. Okay. In Angular 6, there are nothing new got introduced, unfortunately. But they improved the build model. Angular 2 used to take 20 seconds to build a program. Angular 4 used to take around 8 seconds to build a program. Angular 5 uses internal techniques, the internal model of building, reduced it to 4 seconds. Angular 6, maximum 3 to 2 seconds, it reduced it. That is the major differences. Other than that, there aren't much differences in code structure or the compilation models. Your coding and all remains same in Angular 6, Angular 5, Angular 4. There is no change. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, concerns, you can come to institute at any day till 9:30. Okay. If you got any project and you got stuck, you can come to our office. Our office is located in Aditya Trade Center here itself. So I'm available from morning 7:15 to till 8:30 or 9 in the same premises, either here or there. Okay. So if you want some mobile applications or anything to be developed, you can contact us. We'll help you out. Or anything related to work where you're finding technically an expert is needed, you can contact us. Or your company can contact us if you are working for a company. I'm a consultant where I can guide the companies to drive their project. Already doing to other companies. Can guide the companies to deliver their projects. Okay. On a chargeable basis, okay. So that's all, guys. Thank you so much for attending, and please share your feedback if possible on the G+. Google is there, so please share your feedback. Okay. Thank you so much. ఇది చేస్తే ఇక్కడ బాడీ ఇస్తాయి. Structures గా మొత్తం structures. ఒకటే ఉంది నీకు రావు. అది డౌటింగ్ వస్తుంది. మీరల్లా పేజెస్ క్రియేట్ చేసి దాంట్లో ఇన్కమ్ అయిపోయి అయిపోతే రన్నింగ్ ట్రై చేస్తే మీకు ఎలా కావాల్సింది పాయింట్ సిస్టమ్ మీరు చేసుకుని అప్పుడు మీకు అడ్వాన్స్ కాన్సెప్ట్ చెప్పడానికి ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది. వచ్చేసింది ఎలా మీరు ఎలా పెట్టారు ఓకే ఈ ఆరులో నువ్వు మెథడ్ రాస్తావు. మెథడ్ రాస్తావు మెథడ్ రాసుకుంటే మళ్ళీ అవ్వాలన్నా మెథడ్ రాసుకుంటే మళ్ళీ అవ్వవు. డైరెక్ట్ గా దానికి డేటా పాస్ చేస్తే మళ్ళీ తీసుకుంటుంది. గెట్ ఆల్ చెప్పడం గెట్ ఆల్ చెప్పడం చేసి
మొబైల్ డీటెయిల్స్
సో లెక్కలు చేస్తున్నాం కరెక్ట్ కానీ నాకు తెలియదు. అదే చెప్తున్నాను మనం అలా కట్టుకోవద్దు. దాన్ని ఏం చేయాలి? ఈ దిస్ డాట్ ప్రొఫైల్స్ డాట్ లెంగ్త్ ఉంది కదా, ఈ లెంగ్త్ అనే ప్రాపర్టీ అక్కడ ఉందా అక్కడ అక్కడ రాని ఐదర్ డబుల్ కోట్ సింగిల్ కోట్ ఫ్లై వస్తుంది. నువ్వు క్యాల్కులేట్ చేస్తే నీకు వేరియబుల్ చేసి పడే వేరియబుల్ తీసుకుని క్లాస్ నెంబర్ తీసుకుని క్లాస్ నెంబర్ చేంజ్ వస్తుంది. నువ్వు గెట్ ఆల్ జెండర్ లో కదా మెథడ్ రాసి పాప రాసి జెండర్ ఓకేనా? ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాను? ఈక్వల్ టు ఇదన్నా. ఇప్పుడు దీన్ని తీసుకెళ్ళి కాంపోనెంట్కి వెళ్ళి ఇది నువ్వు వర్క్ మంచి ఇష్యూ ఏంటంటే నువ్వు ఇక్కడ ఏమి ఇస్తే అది వెళ్ళిపోద్ది. అర్థమైందా? ఏమి ఇస్తే అక్కడ వెళ్ళిపోద్ది. అన్డిపెండెంట్ వస్తుంది. మరి అక్కడ జనరల్ కాల్ గురించి చెప్పలేదు. ఎప్పుడు కాల్ చేయలేదు, ఫస్ట్ కాల్ చేయలేదు, సేవ్ చేయలేదు వస్తుంది. ఓకే, దీన్ని కాల్ చేయాలి కదా, ఈ మెథడ్ ఎక్కడ కాల్ చేయలేదు. అవునమ్మా, నీకు అర్థం కాలేదు విషయం. వీళ్ళకి ఎప్పటికీ కాల్ చేయాలి కదా, వీళ్ళు ఎక్కడికి కాల్ చేద్దాం.
మీటింగ్ ఎన్ని చేస్తారు?